This is just the beginning. But this will signify a change to enable our kids to learn so much quicker. So as they develop, let's make these neuronal connections the brains of Polynesian kids as we go forward. And at the higher level, think of the Chinese. The Chinese empires, they ruled for thousands of years, not because of their military might so much, which is important, but they ruled because of their bureaucratic and administrative skills. The Mandarins of China kept China a force in the world for thousands of years. We should consider that at the higher levels, we should be using GUMP and others. We should be developing programs for Masters of Ocean Business Administration. We should be teaching our young people more about the oceans and how it applies to everything in their lives. By so doing, I think it is possible that at some point we want to have, when seasteading is moving, we want to produce mandarins of the marine. Let's own the oceanic intellectual space, and let's start thinking about it soon. Because as we know, many of us in the Pacific are independent politically, but we are not fully independent because we don't own the knowledge and we don't own the money most of the time. So we look to seasteading as a possibility of helping us build these capacities so we can start looking at a dynamic future. Because with the brains and the bucks that you people bring, seasteading is capable of solving the grand challenges facing the oceans and the seas, problems which used to be addressed only by nation states. We're lucky here because we have a very visionary government in this country who sees the problems early, which is why we're here, and sees the opportunities. But it's not always the case. Now, what we need to is to look at setting up new financial systems. Now, I said I was going to talk about blockchain, and remember Venice, they became great because they controlled the money. And we do not control all the money in the South Pacific. I know it. I used to work for the World Bank. But consider that we have a new form of money to go along with the seasteaders, free of the greed and the avarice and the bureaucracies of the major financial markets of the world. This is why I want you to consider blockchain. Blockchain, if it starts off with seasteading here, and when it starts to work, then it becomes the financial systems of seasteading as we move forward. And then consider also, you'll hear more about it later, but consider too that this will give us the fiscal engine to keep. Can I buy that? Did you take Bitcoins? But we need to build, with the trust as a major element of blockchain. So we might look at building commercial revolutions of trust instead of offshore banking facilities, which we islands have always done, and the big countries are now trying to destroy. Let's look at building blockchain managements to allow blockchain facilities to allow the big corporates in the different parts of the world and the governments to move their transactions to something which is trustworthy, transparent, and effective. Look, a quick thing, what else can we do? We can do aquaculture. Aquaculture is now to the point where it's almost as big as the captive fishing industry. But I think that seasteading also offers us a chance to look at how we might develop the production of fish in the oceans to feed the world. It's the major source of protein for most of the larger countries in Asia, and I think this is an industry which we could look at as well. Not just fish farming at one level, but imagine multi-layer fishing farming going right down to the depths of the ocean, with fish and creatures at their optimum levels. Which means that with this, you would be controlling much of the protein for the larger countries, especially in Asia. And also, I think, as we've noted before, that the commercial fishing has to be controlled, and it has to be made so that hundreds of thousands of tons of fish are not dumped back into the oceans because people in faraway lands find that they taste too fishy. We have to find ways of making fish as expensive as caviar, so that people who really want to eat fish will pay for it. And the rest will design plastic fish fingers for them. And patrolling the sea, hey, you can build a navy with 3D and 4D technologies at sea if you need, but you don't need a navy. You need sort of patrol, and you need access to the satellites to give you information exactly where everything is. But the point is, just to wrap up, there are so many opportunities for Polynesians in the seasteading offerings. It offers us the possibility of reviving our passion, our spirit for the oceans. It allows us to develop and flourish while remaining in our te moana. And it allows us to exercise complete freedom, more complete freedom, by controlling our resources and our money and our social structures. They say that we reverted to primitivism, but in fact what we did is we worked more on social structures. And the thing is that it's not seen by Europeans because they see us all as a bunch of pleasant fellows. And we dress funny, but not I want to tell you a story. Any Fijians here? It's a true story. During the independence of Fiji, the ceremonies, the British brought in diplomats from different parts of the world to make it look as though Fiji was important, because they were giving it independence. And one of the guys they brought over was a little man from Scotland, and he'd just come from Africa, and he was jet-lagged, and he was running down systems in Africa. Now, the king of Fiji, he's about 6'6", has a big afro, and like many of the high chiefs in Polynesia, the higher your rank, the less you wear. So if you see somebody with great headgear, blah, 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 they've got a contract with Hollywood. It's okay. But the king of Fiji, he had very simple lava, black, a little tattered, bare feet, a bead of ranks. That was it. And he was talking to my father, who was similarly attired. Now, the king of Fiji was educated in the best schools in England. But he was talking to my father in Polynesian and in Samoan, actually, he spoke Samoan. And this little Scotsman is running down islanders. And suddenly the king breaks into English and talking to my father, he says, I have Scottish blood in me. And this little Scotsman goes up and you've got Scottish blood in you. And without even looking at him, he said, yes, Daddy ate someone called MacDonald once. So beware what you see in Polynesians. As I said, social structures are very important, but I'm going to end here because I've really got a bad headache and a club will not cure it. So this is it. What we have is the possibility to build seas of excellence and archipelagos of enlightenment. That's what we have down the line. That's what we discover in addition to the billions of life forms that are not even evident today. And as for sea level rise, the technology that we have available to us in this room, and because of others that they know, will allow us to live and to not look at sinking islands, but look at a future, a brilliant future of floating islands. This is a very good conference because you can tell a good conference because the people next to you are as intelligent or as interesting as the person on the stage. So I'd like you now to introduce yourself to the person next door to you and in one sentence explain who you are and what you are and why you're here. Go ahead.
Big applause to my friend Lele Tui Samoa Lelaolu. Eh bien voilà, comme je vous l'avais signalé au tout début de cette conférence, elle va se dérouler en 2 temps. Notre premier temps est terminé. Vous êtes invités, si vous le souhaitez, à faire un petit break. Une petite pause café vous attend à l'extérieur. On se retrouve ici même dans 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Voilà. Yes. That's the time for the coffee break. And we just invite you to be back on board in 20 minutes. Thank you, guys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. On décroche pas. 1, 2, 1, 2. Un, deux, un, deux.
On, deux, on, deux. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.